Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 47 of our Let's Play series, Stalingrad to Berlin, War in the East 2. In this episode, we're going to complete turn 25 ground combat phase. We're also going to do, as I dubbed it last episode, some clerical work at the end of the episode. Not really going to dive into one specific mechanic, but we are going to look at some interesting things that I don't think we've talked about too much on the series thus far. Just to kind of clean up our various units and add some efficiencies to our theater. And then we'll close out the turn, see how the Germans counterattack, if at all, and do our end of turn summary as we always do. Now, in the previous episode, we left off with our assaults just north of Kharkov. Here you can see we had some success, but then we ran into a lot of issues with them having support units in the rear that were helping out the defense here, and that was very effective for them, and now we have some concerns with this 6th Panzer Division here of a potential counterattack. We're certainly deep enough, though, and certainly outnumber the enemy enough that I'm not worried about it really developing into an issue. However, it is something where they have an advantage now, as we've really depleted our forces trying to break through, and we were unsuccessful. We move a little bit over here, and we see that we actually have an opportunity to finally, maybe, we'll see, finally take this, how to say it, this rail line that runs north-south that I so desperately want to be able to connect another route of getting supplies to my troops other than having to go all the way around to Stalingrad, down south to Rostov, and then back north here, right? That's what we're trying to avoid. So we're going to see how best we can go through and try to actually push through this entire line here. And one of the first things I'm going to do is going to be very, very interesting. So I'm actually going to move this guy up. And I'm going to see if I can have him beat back this unit by itself. There is a armor division committed to defense and a mountain division, so we're probably not going to break through. Okay, so now we know that. We're going to pull back. Now we're going to have to throw everything we've got at them here. So again, they have things committed to the defense, but they retreated. Alright, so we took that. Then we're going to try again down here. 3-1. Retreat at them. Okay, so that's good news. And then, yeah, we don't quite have enough to move forward there. This rifle brigade is unready, so we're actually just going to send you back there to refit. Let's look now here. Let's take the strongest units we can to try to push back here. It's like we're going to take this rifle corps, this tank corps, this rifle corps, that rifle corps, this 1st Guards mechanized, and then I think we'll take, yeah, down here, this 1st Guards rifle corps. Right, and let's have all of these guys attack. 77 to 18. Let's do it. More units committed to defense. My goodness. We have 100,000 men, and we pushed them back. Good news. And they lost 23 armor there. So that helps a lot too. I think now we're going to take this unit and push west here. We push back that Sturm Brigade. Okay. Now we need to see about getting up here to counterattacking. Move in here. Right, and where else can I bring up forces? I'll bring up these two. Right, part of the 5th Guards Army that we had moved in from Stalingrad. Bring up some artillery to help. We'll also take this rifle division up here. So we're kind of going all out here on this attack to break through this hex. And we're not going to have enough there. So we'll leave you there. So let's see now. We take all of this. It's 2 to 1. Let's give it a shot. Oh, no? Did I do here? Let's take this guy down here. Okay, so I guess the artillery does not have enough to help. And actually, can I get you up here to help too? There we go. Mountain Division was committed. No! No, they held! No! My goodness. So incredibly difficult. Okay, so let's pull you back. Bring up this rifle division. And we'll pull you back as well. Take the one that has 8. It's going to exhaust them, but I'm going to do it because I need to get these guys off the line to bring in reinforcements. Take you back. So now I can get you up there. Let's bring our HQ up too, actually. I'm going to take this rifle division too. Okay, we're going to try this again. No, it's not enough. We don't have enough there. What about... I take you off the line. Let's move the artillery back because you proved to be useless to me. Take you there. Add in this rifle corps. Ah, it's something. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. They held. Gosh darn it. That is really unfortunate. Let's push through here. They retreated. Let's take that rifle division up and have them attack. Push them back. Okay, so we were short by 1 hex of taking everything that we needed. We were 1 hex short, which is just so disappointing. But I think now they're probably going to pull back. I think they'll know they've lost this. They inflicted heavy casualties against us as we tried to take it too, which they'll be happy about. Looking down here, we're going to keep pushing though, right? We're not going to give up the advance. We'll move you over here and have you attack. Light Division was committed, so they held. My goodness. Let's take this guards unit up here. Have you guys attack. Rout at them. Take this rifle division there. This rifle division here. Going to attack again. They retreated. Good. Let's see. Don't have enough here. We will take you from the rear and move you up to help defend. You are a little far from home. The 44th Army. Can move you there. No, I cannot. Okay. That is what it is, I guess. Let's move you up. You can push through. They rout it. Let's keep advancing. Let's... see. We take you there, though. Now we can attack. 2-1. Alright, got them to retreat. The Estonian Motorized Brigade. Move you up and have you attack against this motorized division. Rout at them. Might feel really good with how many wins we've had here, but frankly, it was a huge loss to us that we could not push back the 8th Panzer Division. That was really, really too bad. But we will continue our advance regardless. Attack here. Out at them. Move these guys up. Push them back. I think we'll keep going here. I think I'm going to push back here against this HQ unit. Well, no, I'm not. Let's do this. Let's take you two and attack here. Yeah, let's attack here. Infantry division was committed. 2 infantry divisions were committed. They retreated. Okay, so that was a win. And then we're going to take these 2 stacks and see. No? Okay, well, let's try and take out this HQ then. Can't? What about you? No. Okay, well, you're going to have to hold then. Gonna move up this stack. We'll now counterattack here where we're strong, they're weak. That's 3-1 odds. They retreated. Lots of advancement on the front. Lots of advancing. Move you up here. Take this rifle division up. And then let's take all of you and attack these elements of the 20th Panzer Division. Alright. That is a victory. This is one we'll take a look at. And we probably should have taken a look at 4 of these, but I've been skipping through pretty fast. So, 41 armor lost for the Germans. That is just... I cannot stress how disastrous that is for the German player at this stage of the war, especially. Now, most of them were PZ3s, Panzer 11, or Panzer 3s. They lost 11 of them, that's what my brain was thinking. Which, okay, that's not as bad. And then they had some self-propelled guns here. So it's not like we knocked out any Tigers or any any KV. Wow, PZ Force, that's what I'm thinking of, Panzer Force. Their kind of main battle tank, but it's still something. We did lose 8 KV-1Ss, which I'm surprised by. But I would probably attribute it to the concentration they had of SP guns that probably countered the KV-1s. Maybe we can take a look and see if we can infer that here. So AP hits, the Panzerjäger 38s had 14 total AP hits, 4 of them destroying the enemy, 4 damaging them. Okay. KV-1s really were not that combat effective. That's not what I wanted. Go back here, ground losses. And it doesn't look like the air had anything to do with the battle at all, despite having over 200 airframes committed to the battle from us. We took heavy losses as usual, but we really did a good job in countering their ground support, right? So they lost a number of ground support units here. When we look at the air combat, you see that most of them were lower skilled pilots, with the exception of these 2 Ju-87Ds. Looks like they were in the 90s and they lost 12 of them. 61, 48, even 85 is a little low for the Germans at this point. So yeah, whereas you look at all of our average experience and it does not look that great. Now, unfortunately, too, some of our highest rated pilots, we actually lost almost the most of here. We lost 4 of these LA-5Fs with 97 pilot skills, so that's too bad. But these battles have been pretty heated. It's been pretty tense. Let's see if we can now advance up into this hex. And I think we'll take you up. Take you up. Take up this armor unit, actually. And then let's see, do we maybe attack here with this HQ unit? That's tempting, isn't it? Or we can attack here. Can I get in anything stronger there? We can bring in that rifle corps. Let's do that. So let's move back the 126th Rifle Division. And then we're going to take the 20th Rifle Corps. No, we're not. Shoot, that would exhaust them. No, we're not. We're not going to bring up the 20th Rifle Corps. Which now leaves us in a pickle because we already retreated them, so we'll bring up the 150 first. Yeah, I don't know. It's not even 2 to 1, so we're not going to bother with that. Maybe I can attack here, though. 2 to 1. Let's give it a shot. Rout at them. Good decision. Good decision. Okay. Opened us up a little bit for counterattack, but given the depth and our number advantage we have here, I am kind of okay with them thinking about counterattacking, right? It's not some scary thing to us right now. Take these guys off refit, excuse me. We're going to move them up here to defend. And let's see, we could probably bring up that tank corps. Or we bring up this rifle division. There we go. So now we have 12 defensive value there. Also have this tank corps. I might have you go north here and kind of break out a little. We're going to have you press this unit that's routed. Oh, you can't? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we'll have you stay there. Oh, can you? You can't take the HQ then either, can you? Bring that rifle division into it? No. Back here we have more units. We can't forget about all these guys. But it looks like I was going to have some of you maybe on refit. Let's bring you up. There we go. Good stuff. We really pushed pretty far, so I have to make sure not to let the HQs get too far behind. We're just going to do a quick maintenance of all that. Looks good there. These are the fronts, I believe. Yep, southwest front, air. Okay, so that's good. Now down here back to Stalino, they have the Totenkopf SS Panzergrenadier Division. I think, wasn't it the LAH SS Panzergrenadier Division that was here previously? Or am I misremembering that? But anyways, now it's the Totenkopf. So I think we might move you guys up here. Do I maybe have enough to press something here against this Panzer unit? It's 2 to 1, let's do it. Oh no, the Panzer Grenadier Division was committed. No, horrible losses. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened there. That was bad. We lost 70 of our armor in that one battle. They lost 20. Oh. And again, Panzer IIIs, but you see, this is what happened, was the Totenkopf SS Panzer Grenadier Division had these Tigers and Panzer IVs, which were such a bulk of the force that they probably tore to shreds, or T-34s or T-60s. How did we lose? This is just baffling to me. This does not feel to me. How how did we lose 24 KV-1Ss? I mean, that KV-1S can eat for breakfast any of those Panzer IIIs. Arguably, it can go toe-to-toe with any of those SP guns, but again, you get ambushes, concentrations, all these different things that make it really difficult to say, but the SP guns would have the caliber to do damage to the KV-1Ss and get through armor and such, but the KV-1S would certainly be able to at least retaliate a little bit. Pretty much the only thing on that field that would side by side match the KV-1S and be its better probably would be the Tiger. So how did we lose 24 of them? Which is almost all of them that we had. That doesn't make any sense. Was it maybe a morale thing? Was it a combat prep thing where I just didn't pay close enough attention and then that's what led to this disaster? Must have been something like that. No, we don't even have any tank cores here, which means they were all attachments. They were all support units. You have nothing assigned. Where did these guys even come from then? Tank. You have the 4th Guards Heavy Tank Regiment. It looks like this was probably it. They only have 2 KV-1Ss ready. Fatigue of 46. So it's probably this cavalry corps that... Oh no. That's what I missed, guys. That's what did it. This thing's at 95 fatigue. That's my mistake. That's how it happened. Okay. Well, now I know. Now I know. Well, right back to it. Right, not gonna let that get us down or anything like that. Yeah, take you guys off refit. Were any of you on refit incorrectly? Should look at that before throwing them into the front line. Let's take 40th Guards Rifle Division. We're gonna move them up. I want to take the strongest defensive units I have here and move them up. So that would also be the 12th Rifle Corps. And then the 5th Guards Cavalry Corps. So that gives us defensive value of 11. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you two on reserve to try to help out with any counterattack. And I'm going forward here. We're going to try to push in behind the Totenkopfestes Panzergrenadier Division and force them to consider retreating. That's going to be our strategy here. Let's take the 34th Guards Rifle Division. Have you break through. They retreated, okay. Let's take this Rifle Division up. Gonna bring that Rifle Corps up. That Rifle Division up. Let's see. And I think I might take this Mechanized Corps up here. No, I'm going to take the Mechanized Corps behind Stalino. That's what I'm going to do. So that was a little bit of a sacrificial move, but I think it's going to work for us. I think it's going to work for us. And then we'll take this cavalry corps here. We are spreading ourselves thin, but it's all in the name of pressing our advantage. Let's take this HQ unit first. Army Group South Depot is captured. Yes, please. I will take the Army Group South Depot. That sounds lovely. Thank you. Let's push through here. Retreat it. Move these guys up. But now you are... Thank goodness most of you are in an unready state. You are in an unready state. What is going on here? It's chaos. Do we have any units that are somewhat capable of going up there? I guess we can take the 83rd Mountain Division to try to help. I'm just gonna hold you guys there, not gonna move you forward at all. Oh, this Mountain Division needs to go into refit too. What is happening? Take you back. You're both going into refit. Okay. I'm gonna just move you up to help, I think. Do I have units back here that can be brought up? It's a cavalry division. There's a rifle division that we put into reserve. I'll leave you as is. Okay. So we've now, it's not going to last, but we have technically encircled Stalino. Not encircled it, and that's not true either. I'm debating moving over here to also cut this rail line. And I think that would, let's take off the tiles. I think that would leave Stalino proper with any accessible railroad into the city. That might be worth it. That might be worth the sacrifice. Okay, so we did that. You are at 97 fatigue. You might just shatter even if we lose you. I hope it's not the case, but there's a decent chance now. Can I maybe push on you to try to help the situation a little? Okay, so you retreat it back. Right, again, give them things they need to address with their front lines instead of counterattacking, right? So the situation we find ourselves in is the the Totenkopf SS Panzergrenadier Division could have a successful counterattack against any hex that is within its range. The problem is, even if it does 2 successful counterattacks, it then has exhausted itself, it's out of movement points, and it's at risk of being completely encircled. So I think the most likely outcome is they will take that Totenkopf SS Panzergrenadier Division to take care of this mechanized unit, bring it back to the rear, thus alleviating this for us to push on Stalino from the front. Or they take, for example, the 20th Panzer Division, which is also a perfectly fine outcome because then it weakens the front up here. Fact is, they don't have enough units to defend all of this. And we are causing them headaches by doing things like this. It's a little sacrificial of this unit, but I think it was worth it. I really do. Okay. If anything, it's going to be the fatigue that really gets this guy. That's really what will do it. Okay. So that's done. Done all of our movement stuff in and around Stalino. We might have to look, yes, like some of these HQs we actually need to move up. So let's do that here. And back here, you need to come up considerably. Not considerably, just one's fine. You also need to come up. Take you off refit. You don't need to be on refit. Put you on reserve. How about that? Let's bring you up to reserve there. Okay. We'll bring you up too. Alright. Remember when we took Rostov and it was a surprise? That was fun. I enjoyed that. We have a rifle division back here for some reason on refit that is doing nothing to help our cause. Let's change that. Let's bring you up here. Now, the Crimea. This is going good. Let's see. Where do we want to go here? I'm going to bring you up here. I'm going to move you there. You're going to push up there, and it looks like we captured a depot. You're going to push up. You're going to push up there, and you're going to counterattack. Let's do it. Nope, can't. Never mind. Okay, well, you'll stay there. How about that? You'll stay there. And we'll move you there. We can push through some of these. Good, good, good. They held? What? Doesn't seem right. Okay, well, let's focus here. Let's focus. Take you up here. I am gonna have you sit here in reserve just in case. Because we don't have any other units coming up. So where do we want to break out? This stack can clearly just all go here. That was successful. Captured the depot. Look at that. Have you attack here. They retreated. And we'll have you attack here. And they rout it. Well, that was fun. Look how well that went. Let's move you up now. And I will have you go up there. Yeah, let's attack. Nope, can't. That's fine. Can't attack there either. This rifle corps. Yeah, we'll leave them both there. That's good. You're out of movement points. Well, you can keep going, actually. How much can you keep going? Yeah, we'll have you come up one more. That's fine. Yes, I think what we'll do is we'll have... I want to have some type of kind of... Permanent's the wrong word, but I want to have some kind of like reserve line. So I'm going to have this rifle division. I'll have this rifle division. And then this rifle division here. And you can stay here. And that will kind of be our reserve / fallback line, I think, for the following turns. Then we also have someone in Sevastopol if it's ever needed. Okay, good. Railroad repair. Let's see here. Let's start repairing some rails. Look at this and how well it is going. So happy about that. Now let's take a look at our other rail repair units. So you could do a lot there because we're not quite ready there. So have you come up there. somebody off of. Stack of 3. Oh, okay. Don't have anyone else to repair, it looks like. But we'll be ready then for more railroads to be captured here. And it looks like... Okay, no, there are more to be repaired. It's just the interface isn't showing because we don't have enough movement points to get there. So there's some here to do. Down here there's more. So we have a lot still to repair. Okay, good stuff. Back to Control 9 to keep them highlighted because we've got a couple more to go find. Quick survey. Thought I had one down here. No, I think I relocated them. Which, now that we've had this breakout, my goodness, we're going to need them back there quickly. I don't have too much for you here. I guess I can bring you up there. Yeah, 'cause I'm right on the border with all of these units. When I've already... Yeah, that's right. I forgot I already used the repair during the last episode. So I guess I can move you up here to be ready then for this whole chain. Let's do that. Just get you in position for the next turn. Back to the highlight. And here. I've already moved you to. Okay, very well. So that does it for all the ground movement stuff. Now, what I want it to do is take a look at a few things. First is our other theater boxes, and I want to see about maybe bringing in... Well, actually, no. Sorry, before I get into this. So we still have Rzhev set as our reinforcement location. And I think that's still the right call, right? So this means if we transfer something from the reserves or from another theater box or what have you, it's going to come into Rzhev as its starting location. I do think that makes sense because now with this work that we have down here in Smolensk, this is actually going to be the area where we're going to need more units down here, to be honest with you. Because we're going to very quickly widen this front, and we're starting to look a little stretched, a little thin. So I would really like to get in some reinforcements next turn to be ready to help with that. Like, that's really important to me right now. So we're going to take a look at our reserve box, but I also want to take a look at our other theaters and maybe transfer in some units, especially air units, considering just how much combat we've had in the air lately. So when we're looking at the northern front, we see we're 117% over for ground and 155 for air. So I'm only going to take a couple of units from the northern front and move them in. And we're just going to take some high TOE rifle divisions. I think I'm going to do 3 in total. We're going to move them into the map from the northern front. Okay. Oh, I didn't click yes, there you go. And then when we look at air, I need fighters. Holy crap, do I need fighters. So we're going to bring these guys into the Soviet reserves. And yeah, we'll also take these guys to the Soviet reserves. And then we'll take some fighter bombers too. So let's see here. We'll take these Yak-7Bs. We'll do one more. Another Yak-7Bs. Okay. Then we'll go to the Transcaucasus region, and here we're at 150% ground and 200% air. So effectively for air, we could cut ourselves in half and still be meeting a requirement. Now you see it's not actually that much that's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 of the fighter bombers. So I'm going to take this Yak-7B, Yak-1B, and we'll do one more, the LAF, I think. LA-5F, I should be specific. Ground units, we are at 150%. So let's get rid of 3 or 4 rifle divisions, probably. So let's do just the first 3 here, maybe. think that makes sense. So we're going to bring these guys to the map. And real quick, we're going to start having a lot of reinforcements available to us around Smolensk. We'll look at the far east theater box, and here we're actually pretty close. I'm going to leave this because this is our largest theater box, and I don't want to keep coming back and micromanaging this every turn, so we're going to leave that be. I am going to take a look at, actually before we do reserves, let's look at building new units. So what I wanted to look at and start with is the American LL Tank Brigade, and I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked this up, but I'm pretty sure that the LL stands for Lend-Lease. So this is the 1943A American Lend-Lease Tank Brigade unit, and you see that we have 117 out of a limit of 202. What's important to note that it's actually that we have 117 tank brigades, and this is simply a variant of that tank brigade. So if we were to scroll through existing units, you'll see that none of these are the American Lend-Lease Tank Brigade. Now, why am I so interested right now in showing you guys, let's build some American Lend-Lease Tank Brigades. What's up with that? That's a little random, right? Well, when we click the American LL Tank Brigade, we see that the armor that it is comprised of is the M3A1 Stuart, which is a light tank, and the M4A2 Sherman, which is the same Sherman that so many of you are probably familiar with and was iconic during World War II and honestly even to the Korean War. It was the kind of main, most common battle tank of the United States, and they made a lot of them for their allies. It wasn't only the United Kingdom, it was also the Soviet Union that got a lot of Sherman tanks. And when we're looking at this, as I noted, we don't have any of these American tank brigades right now. When we look at our just regular 1943A tank brigade, we see that it's comprised of T-70s, a light tank, and the T-34, our medium tank, right? And when we click on the T-34, we see that we have this pool of 1,300 of them, and it gives all the different stats, etc. It's going to upgrade to the T-34-85 in April 1944, etc. And if we exit all of this, and if we go to our production menu, and if we scroll here and find the T-34, I'll probably use a filter, but I think I'll find it quickly enough. Got T-38 through T-70. Where's the T-34? Ah, T-34. Here we go. And I think that we were looking at the 1942 variant still. Maybe it was the 1943 variant, though. Anyways, you see here pool. Yeah, it was the 42 variant. We have 1370. And that we have capacity to build 350. Right? That's a pretty high number, and it makes sense. It's the number one armor unit that we have in our arsenal. But let me point your attention to something. We have 146 M4A2 Shermans. 146 that are available in our pool right now. Built a total of 470. Okay? We have the capacity, we click on this, we have the capacity to do a total of 26 in production, and then 13 from each of these two off-map locations, right? So the purpose of that is that in, say, 1941, there is no M4A2 Sherman factory the Germans can capture, right? Because these are being shipped in from the United States or her allies. But what I'm getting at with all of this is it would behoove us not to have some M4A2 Shermans on the battlefield. Because every M4A2 Sherman that we put out there on the battlefield is one less T-34 that we need to fight over where it goes, right? So if we can equalize a little bit of that demand reflective to capacity, it will allow us to pump out 26 Shermans every turn and 340 T-34s every turn. Ta-da! Right? But right now what's happening is we're producing 340 T-34s and we're using up every single one of them, and sometimes we might have a shortage. right, of tanks. Here we can work around that, right? We can add in a bunch of brigades that currently have no demand. There is no unit in the field sitting there going, ooh, me, give me the Sherman, right? So let's build some Shermans. So we're going to go back to the build new unit map, or menu, excuse me. And let's just say maybe do 6. Is that appropriate? Right, so there's 32 M4A2 Shermans. Actually, do 5, I think. Because I think we had about 130, so this is going to put us pretty close to about 150 when we're all said and done. I didn't dive into it, but just trust me when I say the M3A1 Stuart is the exact same situation, right? We're not really using them in any units, and we have this pool available to us of production capacity for them, so let's use them. So we're going to build 5 American Lend-Lease tank brigades. There we go. And now I think we would see them on the reserve menu. I thought I saw this refresh, but perhaps I was just mistaken. Okay. Anyways, let's also look at some of our other units here. So we have these heavy tank regiments, which we still have some capacity to build more of. So let's just build 5 more heavy tank regiments, right? Because those are pretty useful to us. Tank cores were currently over capacity as much as I would like to build more. Flame tanks, I'm not going to die. Well, okay, you know what? Let's just do 3 flame tanks. I don't want to go too crazy on them though, because without getting into the weeds of the production cycle, right? It's your production infrastructure in the background is sitting there and it's making various chassis, right? And then on top of those chassis, they mount all the equipment for whatever vehicle it is you're making. But a KV-8 chassis is the same as the KV-1 chassis, and I think it's even the same then as the T-34 chassis from the game perspective. In real life, they were not the same chassis, right? But we're using up some of that supply of armored chassis by making KV-8s. That's my only hesitation from going and saying, yeah, let's build 12, right? So we're just going to build 3 for now, and maybe we'll use them when we're trying to assault some fortified positions in the line. Looking here at mechanized units, it looks like we have an opportunity for some mechanized brigades, right? Because we only have 4, we have a capacity of 56. So let's go ahead and make 5 of these. Okay. And then down here we have this motorized brigade. I would like to do the same. I'm going to do another 5. Because we're in the summer months now, roads exist, it's not blizzards, trucks and such are much more usable, as well as the motorcycle regiments that we've already started building. And then we get into rifle corps. Boy, have we been having fun with rifle corps lately. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to build 5 new rifle corps. And as you can see, we've actually already got enough rifle divisions in the Soviet reserve boxes. That's what that SR is, to be able to accommodate building 5 new rifle corps. So we're going to go ahead and just build them. There we go. Done. Down here, we're way over on ski brigades. So even though I want more for the winter, we can't make any more. Cavalry corps. We're not going to bother with in the reserves. We might look for opportunities on the map though to find multiple cavalry divisions to upgrade to cavalry corps, but that's not a focus for us right now. And then lastly, I want to look at a regiment, just because the Germans really have been upping their air time since, well, you know, it's summer, the weather's nice, etc. So I want to build 10. I want to build 10 AA regiments. So we're going to do that. And there we go. We've built a bunch of units now. We're looking at our Soviet reserve box. And let's start looking to see what we can go ahead and deploy. And a lot of these, right, like these flame tanks, we just made them. They're not worked up yet, so that's fine. There's no pressure there. We have a couple of tank corps that are still at about 90% TOE, so I want to let them finish working their way up. But I do have some guards heavy tank regiments that I'm going to go ahead and deploy here to the map. So then these will assign to various HQs. They're at 95% or higher TOE, so I'm feeling good about this. Well, know that we'll do all of them. We're going to do quite a few here. See, I'm clicking that, but it's got a bit of a delay there. I think we'll do one more. Okay. Mechanized units. Here we have this mechanized brigade, which is ready to go because we'd already had it there in the previous turn. We've got 5 more incoming, though. Motorized brigade, again, we've got a couple that were from previous turns, you see right here. So we're going to deploy all of these. And then we're also going to have some motorcycle brigades, I believe, if I saw that correctly. But we'll go ahead and we'll deploy. There we go. Oh, nope, the motorcycles are still... Oh, no, they're good. The motorcycle regiments, right, that's it. They're not a brigade. So we'll go ahead and attach these. Perfect. So those are now going to be available. And then, well, looky here, look at all these rifle corps. So let's go ahead and deploy these rifle corps, which then means in 1 to 2 turns, we're going to have 5 rifle corps ready to go and help that breakout by Smolensk, which is just fantastic news. Go ahead and deploy all of these. We got one more here. And then we're actually going to have more rifle divisions coming in, not this turn, but the following turn, from our theater boxes that we just went through. And that should allow us then the decision to either make more rifle corps or to go ahead and just deploy them. Now, a quick note, right, that we need to be a little cautious of. So our administrative points have gotten a little low, right? So we might want to let them build up for a turn or two. So we might just deploy them as just straight divisions when they do transfer over, okay? Down here, we've got these anti-air units, these anti-air regiments. Some of these we can deploy right off the bat, so we'll go ahead and do that. You'll see below that we have these SP units, and these are the SU-76, the SU-122, etc. We are still not up to the number of SU-122s and 76s that we need to be able to... Sorry, some of these I need attention. Yeah, these are all new. We're not quite up to having enough of them available. So you see here, we only have 4 SU-122s. It's just not enough. So we need to wait probably, I'd say 5 or 6 more turns at the rate we're going, unless something changes with how quickly they're being populated. We need about that much longer still to go. All right. Now that we've done all of that, I actually think we're going to go ahead and end the turn. So let's do the AI depot management. And then we'll close out the turn, see what the German simulated actions are doing, etc. And then do our end of turn. There we go. Skip through these air resupplies, that's fine. Okay. So it's been really exciting turn 25 as we had these breakouts in both Smolensk and kind of near Dritsa. And then at the same time in the south, we really started to break through north of Stalino, which was good to see. Crimea continues to be a huge success story as we break out there. And I'm hoping that's going to let us put pressure on the Germans. I'm only now kicking myself, right, wishing that I would have done more than the 3 armies that I committed to the Crimea, but really just wasn't sure what we we're going to find there, and it's a big investment to send a bunch of armies down to the Crimea. What we might do is we might get a little creative and change our reinforcement location to Sevastopol or somewhere like that, and then send our reinforcements from the reserve box directly into the Crimea, try to form up a new army, etc. And then use that to try to push outward, because what I'd really like to do, if we have enough units to create a line, I'd really like to start threatening like Odessa, right? Because if we can get Odessa and the Crimea kind of locked down, there's enough in terms of supply from the ports that we'll be able to hold on to those until the day the Germans bring back pretty much the entire front line to counter us. And by the time they do that, our frontline units will be hot on their tails chasing them. So it's a win-win again for us if we manage to distract them in such a way. If not, we'll just keep pushing out as far as we can, take some cities, etc., cut some rail lines, and then that will just slowly start to have an impact on the South, Army Group South, and pretty much all the units that are in southern modern-day Ukraine. So I think that'll be pretty good. Here the Germans are running quite a few air sorties, 635. It did seem like a lot of them were recon, but I'm not convinced all of them were, because we're at 830 and they only lost 24. So I think there was probably a fair amount of ground attack or something in there, or level bombers. So here they're doing some air resupply. Yeah, let the counterattacks begin here. This is against that mechanized unit, which we actually held, which I'm stunned by. Absolutely stunned by. Our cavalry unit did retreat, so now we are effectively cut off from our mechanized unit, but hopefully... oh, they retreated. Hopefully we'll be able to rescue them next turn. We're going to have to see. Oh my. So they've brought up the Totenkopf Vestas Panzer Grenadier Division back here, which means they've left Stalino completely open from the front if we want to continue pushing. So our little act of a distraction there seems to have paid off. We'll see, though, how they reposition their units to defend. We got pushed back by 1 hex by Smolensk, that's fine. We managed to hold here by Lake Ilmen, which is really good news. Look at these losses they took. They lost 29 armor, half of their armor. And it looks like we held them off again. My goodness, what heroes of the Soviet Union we have there in that hex. They really threw the barn at us. We actually held another counterattack here north of Stalino. As I expected, these guys proved to be a little sacrificial by the end of the day, but I think it's done exactly what I wanted by opening up some possibilities for us to have a more frontal assault on Stalino. Again, we're just going to have to wait and see how they reorganize their front line. It's nice to actually see some counterattacks out of the German player, though. I think we had a turn or two there where there were none, and now we really have to wait and see where do they redeploy their defensive line here in this last stage of their turn. Yeah, it's looking like there might be something here. I'm going to aggressively and optimistically say that maybe we can get Stalino next turn, just from what we saw there. But I'll leave that as a cliffhanger. We're not going to go and look at it in depth. You'll just have to tune into the next episode to see what we can do there. Alright. And now we get to our turn. Going through the logistics phase for ourselves here. We'll do the end of turn summary and then close out as we usually do. Boy, it's been fun, guys. Absolutely been loving it. You may have noticed a slight difference in tone when I played this scenario compared to the 1941 scenario. I played the 1941 scenario and I sit there going, what the heck did you get yourself into? This scenario. Well, and I shouldn't give a misleading perception here. Stalingrad to Berlin, this scenario, you start as the favorites, right? You're not playing as the underdog. But as a newer player to the series and the game specifically, I certainly did find that it has had enough challenges, right? I've had to kind of grow into it, and I've been able to do that a lot from the support of the community, the comments and the videos and the interactions on the forums. But if I would have just tried to play through Stalingrad to Berlin by myself without any of that engagement and without the determination to keep going, I would have found it very difficult to get this far in this scenario, even being kind of the likely favorite to win given the scenario conditions. And again, it's not just about winning, right? Like you can, we're almost to episode 50. We can be honest with ourselves and say, yeah, the Soviets are going to get to Berlin. It is very likely going to happen. I should be knocking on wood because you guys know my luck, but we are probably going to get to Berlin. But that doesn't mean that there's not challenges along the way we can try to overcome. maybe we can get to Berlin by the end of 1944, right? Wouldn't that be fun? Instead of going to the end of the scenario length. So there's lots of challenges that still lie ahead of us. I'm going to stop my rambling now. Let's get to the end of turn summary. We lost 80,000 men. That's much higher than the last couple turns, but it's still within a good limit. Lost 1,800 guns, 830 armor, which is pretty high considering our running average. We lost 1,100 airframes, again, pretty high. We were positive on the map, 90,000 men. We gained 1,500 guns. We lost 700 armor, so we actually weren't able to replace all the armor we lost, which again comes back to decisions like I was describing with the Sherman, is that's going to help us replace those losses when they happen more efficiently. We lost 540 airframes. The Germans, this must have been something with having to transfer to like other theater boxes. They lost 255,000 men from the order of battle in this turn. 3,000 guns, 900 armored fighting vehicles, which tells me they probably took out some panzer divisions, and they are flat on airframes. We have 50 units low supply, which I am so happy with. 98 units are under strength, though. It has been kind of coming down, but it's kind of flatlined there, and we should consider that a little more going forward. But we've been pressing the advantage, and I think it's been worth it. Looking at new events. Oh, okay. Well, this probably explains this. The Axis surrendered in North Africa. So a few units are evacuated to the Axis reserves, but most surrender, and the North Africa campaign ends. Okay, so that's exactly what happened here then, is this would be all the forces that surrendered. Okay. Most of the Axis air units in North Africa evacuate, so they're probably going to get a disproportional amount of air units into their reserve box as opposed to ground units. The theater box is now inactive. So the Italy theater box now has combat intensity increased to low for air combat. The Italian campaign now begins. All right. Let the Italian campaign begin. Mighty 8th Air Force continues their bombing, which is having an impact on the Germans. They have a shortage of units in Western Europe, and Soviet partisans continue their work. So a very interesting turn in many aspects. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving the video in the series a watch and the time that you take to engage with it. Should you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them in the comments section, and I will do my best to get back to you as quickly as I can. And as always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.